Today, I'd like to talk with you about how karma works in relationship. A gift of taking care of people over long periods of time is watching how patterns, rhythms of karma work. One of the simplest ways we can affect our lives is to experience what's happening to us in a different way. So before we try to change things, to see them differently. And one of the best places to make these changes is actually in the past. We can change the past by going back into what we remember, realizing that we're only remembering a very small strain thread through a much more complex time, and asking the questions that would liberate us to experience the past in a preferable way. This never means we forgive violations as a letting it go, oh, whatever, no big deal. It means we forgive because we know how to recognize that holding on to suffering hurts us. And one of the easiest ways to do this is to realize how karma works. When we have had one volatile relationship in a certain respect, often with a parent, we will have a natural rhythm to that relationship. The relationship itself exists as vibrating energy, and it has taught our spiritual presence how to relate. It's a little bit of a mixed blessing in that the curse is that we are more familiar with our own dysfunctions than with something that could be preferable or joyful. But the blessing is that we can learn to feel our own dysfunctions and bend them. One of the most common things you will encounter when you take care of other people, as I trust you will, is that people will have a series of relationships in some cases that all have similar problems. For some folks, this is a whole strain of chaos. Why do I keep attracting the same bad relationship? When you come to terms with the fact that, of course, it's going to work like this, it's built in, it's spiritual physics, you can ask the question, what do I have to learn here? And as soon as you ask that question, things get better. Things get better just by introducing this change in perspective. And that will quite quickly shift to perhaps assigning a different way of blame. My favorite interpretation is blame does not exist. Blame is not a thing. Blame is a fabricated, ephemeral concept that has no real resting place in reality. Fault exists, but a fault is a gap between two people. No one owns a fault. A fault is the gap between what you have wanted and what someone else has wanted. How we operate across that fault may have been different. Some people lash out across a fault, try to force the person on the other side to change. That is not okay. But our ability to respond, our responsibility, is to ask the deeper question. Why am I here? Why am I at this canyon? This fault. Why am I here? Why am I attracted to something that's clearly not working? That's clearly not working for me? Why am I here and not in a place with more love? Why am I not attracted to something with greater love, rhythm of care? Asking that question will always have an answer. That answer is present immediately when you ask the question, but hearing it can take a little more time. And this is where you can work to hold space for others by reflecting on yourself. First, we reflect on ourselves, then we hold space for whoever comes to us. When people come to you, they often have a more focused awareness of their patterns. And you could look at this and say, I see that. You attracted this after you did that. So you fixed one problem, but you still had this other problem, and then you attracted someone who would work on this with you. I get it. Then you see that. Now you have a more gracious way of understanding someone else's pain often than they do. And then I pause and I stay quiet. I stay quiet. And I say, how best can I teach this to them? How best can I share this with them? What are they ready to hear? And so I'll gently ask questions and I'll reinforce. I don't think anyone deserves to suffer. I do think if you punch a wall, you're going to get hurt. People don't often understand that they're punching a wall when they relate with their karma. Seems like a simple lesson, but when they don't understand that a wall is a wall, there's a lot of care and compassion in learning to teach someone, please don't keep pushing against something that won't move. Don't attack your reflection. We attract relationships that are giving us a chance to heal our karma. It is best to presume that when you are in a relationship with someone, you share karma there. It's not equal. It's not equal. It's not. It never is. This is life saying it's time for you to work on this. And when I look backwards in my past, I look at times when I've had a very challenging, painful relationship, and I can say, it's not equal, but my karma led me there. My karma led me there. It wasn't their fault. How can I heal my karma so I never have to do that again? And that is ultimately what we can give to people as healers. How can we help them heal their karma so they never have to go through that again? And it begins with reframing our memories to understand that karma magnetizes what we need to work on. And as soon as we learn to trust that, our lives get better right away.